Hello, today for review I've got Shanling M6 new Android DAP from this company. I always look at Shanling products with attention because they always release something really stylish, but time to time their products are a bit below other competitors in terms of sound, so I'm always waiting for the new products and I'm always hoping that they will release something, well, maybe not killer, but something really worth this price tire. And M6 was announced a pretty long time ago, and but currently they are selling only Chinese version, and actually I've got a version for the Chinese market. I asked my friend to buy at Hi-Fi Go. My friend in China, I asked him to buy from Hi-Fi Go and send it to me. So international version will be released really soon. At least Shanling promised that they will do that at the end of November, so probably the international version will be available too, but currently they even forbid selling it overseas. But I managed to get one and I spent some time with it, and now I'm ready to speak about it. It's based on the Snapdragon 430 system on chip, and it uses dual AK4495 for digital to analog converter. Its output power is about 140 milliwatts for 32 ohms load from single-ended output, and a bit above 300 milliwatts from the balanced output. What else is important here? Work time. Work time is about 10-11 hours single-ended and 7 up to 8 hours from balanced out. So normal figures, nothing stellar, but pretty normal. Price is $400, and actually it's fitting into the most competitive price tire now, where the vast majority of concurrency is now happening, because we've got few M11 and M11 Pro for a bit more price, but still I think it's fitting this price range. iBasso DX160, Hiromi R5, so let's see how this player performs in this price tire. As usual, package is really stylish, nice combination of foil and changing colors. Basic specs, so LDAC, HWA, aptX HD, so basically all high-res codecs are available here. Short specs here printed, but I already mentioned them all. 4.7-inch screen and so on and so forth. So, what we've got here, internal box, really stylish one. Player itself, here we will have USB cable. It's expected, and here quick start guide, some additional information, screen protectors, and wet wipes to apply screen protectors. Unfortunately, no case in the accessory set. Shanling prepared nice leather case that will be sold separately, but you know, for this price range I think we can expect at least silicone tips, sorry, not tips, of course, silicone case in the accessory set, because all other DAPs in this price range have it. In terms of design, it's typical Shanling player, you know, you can, if you've seen M3X, M3S, M2S, so you can probably see familiar shapes. Really, they're really consistent in terms of design. Nice front and back panel and covered with glass, curved glass with 2.5D effect. So on the bottom there is USB. It can be used for charging, to access internal memory and memory card, to use it as digital to analog converter, to output the digital signal to external digital to analog converter, and so on. So regular single-ended output, balanced output 2.5mm and pentacode out. 3 buttons for tracks navigation and micro SD slot. And here is on-off button combined with volume regulator and LED indicator. This LED indicator will show the Bluetooth signal resolution, charging status and other important information about the device. Well, I turned it on, it started booting up, but let's do some size comparison. As you can see, iBus DX160 is, let me turn it off for now. So iBus DX160 is noticeably smaller in all dimensions. It's more narrow, shorter, slimmer, more lightweight. And another competitor is FIO M11, about the same size, a bit shorter, a bit thinner. So as you can see, M6 is pretty big DAP, but it fits nicely in hand. Not so good in fitting into the pocket, but still pretty acceptable, I can say. In terms of size, it's still pocketable. Of course, compared with, I don't know, with Hiromi R5, Hiromi R5 is tiny compared with it. So let's put the brightness to maximum. As you can see, there is a big space above the screen and below the screen, so no edge-to-edge display. And of course it's not rounded to edges like Samsung does, but still it's good. Pretty nice viewing angles, bright, nice resolution, enough of brightness to be visible under the bright sun. So in this aspect, everything I can say that everything is really good. So touch sensitivity is nice. It's really fast and responsive, but I have to change the grip to access the whole screen because of this big empty space above and below the screen. Anyway, build quality is nothing but good. In terms of firmware, it's basic Android 7.1 with additional player made by Shanling and some small and other improvements. Google Play Store is not available, and Shanling representative told on Porta.Fi that it won't be available, but in later versions they will provide APK Pure, and you will be able to install the Google Play Store from APK Pure. Actually, I tried that scenario on my iBus DX160, and it's worked. It surprised me a little bit, but it's worked. So out of the box there is cool APK, but it's totally in Chinese, and honestly I have no idea. Maybe there is some way of changing language to English, but I'm not sure how to do that. Maybe I will try to do that later, but we'll see. And besides that, it's regular Android 7.1. It's a 32-bit version according to Porta.Fi. I suppose that they will update it to 64 bits, but we will see that. There is separate application for online update, manual troubleshooting, so familiar idea if you do it the same way. Online update works, and it received few updates recently, so it's the latest version of the firmware. Everything works pretty smoothly, pretty nicely. Well, let's first look at settings. There is separate audio settings with output mode, headphones out and line out. All filter modes you can change: gain, low, high, balance, boot volume and maximum volume, and wireless playback quality. So as you can see, a lot of codecs are supported. Also you can select one of two control modes. It's in the display, so you can select floating box mode. This small button, virtual button, will work as back. but actually I prefer gesture mode more. It's more familiar. And the heart of everything here is the Hiromi player. So let's first look at the menu. Library update, all songs, high resolution ones, album, artist, genre, playlist and folders. Let me select something. Well, I don't know. I don't think it makes any difference, but anyway. Should it take us to now playing screen? No. So, Wi-Fi transfer, really handy feature sometimes, and universal plug and play, you can access the devices. Search, I really like search because you can select few different keyboard types, and I like gadgets with sensor screen because search is more convenient here. And settings. In the settings you can change sleep timer, should it resume playback, skip folders, HWA codecs, it's activated separately, equalizer, so pretty basic equalizer, just 10 bands graphic equalizer. DSD playback mode, pause when headphones disconnect, automatic library, lock screen, reset library, theme, you can select white or black one. Actually, I suppose they will add automatic switching. And language settings. When this player boots up, you can select the interface language, but still player was in Chinese, so if your player will be in Chinese too. So second from bottom it's settings, second from bottom is settings, and the lowest item is language, so here find and select English, well, just in case. And as you can see, now playing screen is pretty crisp, familiar, so lyrics and additional information. But let's select something with album cover, I don't know, any single track. As you can see, it's changing tint of this screen a little bit, so you can add to the favorites, to the playlists, equalizer, and additional menu with artists and albums. So pretty basic functionality, but it's working. Nice stylish widget to control the DAP. We'll see how the firmware will evolve. I suppose we will see APK pure, and we will have an ability to install play services. Besides that, it's really fast, really reliable. So 4 GB of RAM and nice Snapdragon chipset do the trick, so it's pleasant in terms of firmware and controls. And as for sound, Shanling once again recreated their sound signature, and as usual their DAP is trying to be more exciting than the tune itself is. So it's trying to highlight a bit lower frequencies, trying to add a bit more weight to the mids and highlight a bit treble, so to create, additional wow effect. Of course, it's not, like like with in-ear monitors when you've got accent on the lows, accent on the treble, and you can see it on the frequency response. Of course, no, DAPs doesn't do that, and I'm sure that in terms of frequency response it would be absolutely flat, but it's just adding a bit of additional weight to the lows. And well, let's proceed it step by step. I've seen some funny opinions that there is no need in describing sound of dubs, because dubs sounding about the same. But it's definitely not the case. Of course, dub headphones contribute like 70 or 80% of to the sound signature, but dubs are still important, and they definitely sounding a bit different. And of course, so this difference isn't huge, but well, sometimes it's huge, of course, but when we're speaking about the one segment, usually difference isn't big, but at the same time difference between let's say M11 by FIO and R5 by Hibi, it's really noticeable. One is thin and transparent and monitoring, second one is leaning towards the warmer side. But of course you can compensate that with headphones. You can the particular signature, you can tweak something with the equalizer. So of course DAP's task is to play, I think, is to play neutral, balanced, with a good amount of weight and at the same time with good resolution. And coloration you can achieve via headphones. But let's proceed with sound description step by step. So bass here is normal, not superb, but normal. So normal resolution, good depth, actually not the deepest one, but still good depth. And what is more important here, it controls lower layers of bass pretty nicely. At the same time, it's good in rendering textures and it's sounding pretty realistic. Probably sometimes it's a bit exaggerate low frequencies and it's trying to play more bass than it's present in the record. And usually it gives pleasant results, like you will have more body for the low register instruments, you will have more weight for these instruments, and they're sounding more realistic. But at the same time, sometimes it's not just sounding a bit not natural. But it's still a matter of preferences, because let's say if we take something absolutely natural and monitoring, it could sound also not natural for other people. It's just a matter of preferences. And as an example, I've got is it maximum brightness? Yes. I've got Dire Straits, Private Investigations, nice bass line, and especially in the second half of track, like here, when intro part, or actually it's not intro, probably it's first half of song is over and second part is just monotone bass note and perfect guitar solos. And actually this player plays this bass line pretty lively, but it's a bit lacking the proper decay for this bass line. Attack is really good, so this bass note appears crisp and clear, but it's just a bit extended, a bit more than it should be. But still, it's I'm nitpicking here, because I'm trying to compare it with some more expensive devices. Mids are nice, really well done, emotional, not too analytical, not too smooth, it's really balanced mids. Well, probably it's not for those who like totally monitoring and cold representation, and not for those who like warmer rendering of mids, something in between. So it's just achieve both sides. It's detailed enough, but at the same time it's not too analytical, not too clinical, and it's not too picky for the quality of record. So if you have something not properly recorded in your collection, it will behave nicely. At the same time, it's really emotional and has a really good macro dynamics. I've seen in the description that they've used some good capacitors, and usually, big electrolytic capacitors are vital to achieve the proper macro dynamics. I'm not sure how it's connected, but maybe there is some explanation. Maybe I'm just biased here, maybe I'm just raving here, I'm not sure, but usually good capacitors bring good macro dynamics. Imaginary stage is good, a bit above average both in width and in depth. Maybe it's not the most spacious DAP, but also it's not, stage isn't small here. I'd say that it's lacking a bit of aggression on the upper mids or at the lower treble, but it's also a matter of preferences, because he renders the lower part of treble. Well, probably let's see an example before proceeding to the before proceeding to the treble. So as an example, for the mids I've got Northern Kings. I really like this super group composed of probably most famous Finnish metal singers, and Brothers in Arms. Well, it's just another cover version of Dire Straits, done really superbly, and lot of great male vocals, and this emotional mids here, they are really complementing each other, and this track sounding really realistic. But some more heavier tracks with distorted guitars, I'd like to add a bit more sparkle to them. Actually, you know, fun thing, when you press forward, actually you can go forward. I got 3 tracks in my favorites, and you can't go forward from the last track, but at the same time you can go backward wherever you like. So small tiny bugs are present in the firmware, so probably Shanling will polish it in some near future. And treble, so a lower treble is a bit smooth, while upper part of treble is totally good, and it has really good treble extension and really nice saturation of treble with details. Layering is basic, so overtones are separated more or less normal, but not superb. But still, you know, it's better, much better than nothing, and treble here has good resolution, and it has good extension, so you know, it's also balancing between audiophilic and mass market, so Shanling is trying to sit on both chairs. I'd like to add a bit more clarity to the lower treble, but at the same time, if you're treble sensitive, it would be a nice dub for you, because it's rendering this part in a pretty polite way, so it's not exaggerating this part. But of course, you know, it's not soft, it's not super, it's just, you know, I must highlight once again that I'm speaking about really small nuances of sound, so don't expect that they're big, and but still I need to express what I hear, comparing this dub with another. Actually, I forgot to put headphones on the table, but not sure that it's important, but anyway. So my favorite hands, let them lie here. And then as example for the treble, you've seen that already, it's Hiromi Uehara, Rainmaker, great jazz pianist. And what I like about her albums, that they are recorded, you know, more in rock style. So drums here more suiting rock album, not jazz one, so they're sounding really engaging and lively. But this track starts with really high-pitched fortepiano notes, and it's recorded really nicely, so you will hear all these overtones going up to the upper treble domain, and if your earphones allows to hear it, you will enjoy this amount of details that this dub is giving. So let's move back and summarize a little bit. This is the player that's sounding a bit more engaging than the tracks themselves are. It's a typical Shanling sound. It's not for those who prefer totally monitoring representation, but for those who like a bit of added coloration that I've described in the previous part. In terms of power, it's also not the most powerful. Well, 130 milliwatts and 350 or somewhere there. It's not the most powerful, but it will be enough for vast majority of in-ear monitors and for many full-size scans. Of course, some tough-to-drive planar headphones will require additional amplification, but at the same time it has pretty good black background, so level of background noise isn't big here, so they did good job in shielding this electromagnetic interference and so on. And briefly about the compressions, I'm waiting for the FIO M11 Pro to arrive. Post delivery to me is really slow, so just a brief compression here, and I will in some future I will create a longer video. I won't spend 15 minutes of your time, you know, just waving them in front of you and saying nothing about sound. So I won't focus also on the functionality, and I think you can see the size. I've reviewed all these DAPs before, so if you are interested, just check the reviews out. But briefly about the sound signature, because you know I think that selecting proper DAP, first of all you need to figure out what functions you will need and what sound signature you will need, because you basically select the signature and then you can tweak it with your earphones, headphones or something like that, because difference isn't huge between the DAPs. So FIO M11, it's natural monitoring, a bit colder in terms of sound. It's focused on the micro details, and so it's more resolving, and at the same time it's sounding thinner and with more treble, a bit brighter. So if you like to hear sound without absolutely any coloration, it's your choice. But this one will offer you a bit more colored low frequencies that sounding more enjoyable sometimes, and a bit more polite treble. Hiromi R5, it's step to other side, so it's a bit warmer than Shanling with a bit recessed treble, but at the same time it's more linear on the low frequencies and on the mids. So imagine it's like linear on lows, on mids, and a bit recessed treble, while this one is less recessed on treble, but at the same time lower treble is softer here, and at the same time bass is a bit more accented by adding a bit more weight coloration, but not by a bigger degree. And these two ones, they are really close in terms of competition, but at the same time it's a bit better on the mids. They are more realistic, and it's more natural on the lows and on the mids without any additional coloration. So it's kind of natural signature, but with a bit of added weight. So if we compare it with M11 is more monitoring, while this one is a bit more lively. But I've did the comparison of these three, so I don't think there is much sense in comparing them. So it was Shanling M6, good DAP if you like Shanling's sound signature, or if you like a bit more funnier sound signature with a bit more added fun. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.